Let's try that again. Welcome aboard, everybody. Joe Quills here with you for another edition of the Philly Guy Speaks. And ladies and gentlemen, I would give myself one of those if I had that available to me, but I don't. But anyways, hope everybody's having a great week out there. And if you were watching the Tuesday show live or watching it on demand on twitch.tv/Joe Quills or on my YouTube page, which is youtube.com/at the Philly Guy Speaks, I had massive 5 o'clock shadow, unkempt hair, whatever you want to call it, on my face. And I got bored of it today and decided to hack it all off. So I'm good for another couple of weeks with that. So, but yeah, I do look different. And I'm sure once the regular crowd shuffles in, they will be like, "What the hell happened to you?" But yeah, I feel about 15 years younger. Okay, I'm joking around, but yeah. But anyways, coming up on the show, got the coaching carousel appearing to be closing up shop for this year. 3 positions were filled up in the last couple of days. Also have a weird story about a player who was arrested for illegal betting when he was in college. I'll tell you about that, and more. And maybe if we're lucky, I'll open things up for you guys towards the end of the show here, like I tend to do on Thursday. Oh, by the way, I will have my football picks for the weekend. So let's see here. Get the stream manager up here, and I will keep an eye on everything here. We'll see what we'll get the stream together up later, possibly. So, anyways, first, it's not a good night to be a Philly sports fan, and it's not good to be a Philly sports fan when you're a Drexel alum like I am, because the Sixers got blown out by Indianapolis, but yours truly decided to play the over, which was 239 and a half. I think it came in at about 260. I don't think Indiana's been under in any games this year, and if it is, it's probably because it was up around 300, because Indiana really doesn't know much in the way of defense. They're going to try to outscore you by scoring 150 points if they have to, in my opinion. But the Sixers lost. The Flyers got shut out in Detroit. And then my alma mater, Drexel Dragons, lost their first game in the Coastal Athletic Association. I have to get used to that. I'm purposely saying that because it's been a Colonial for so many years that for some reason they decided to rebrand as the Coastal Athletic Conference, or CAA. So they're still the CAA. It's just that you may not know what that first word is. And I didn't even notice it in football season because Villanova plays in that conference as an affiliate to the conference. But not a good night. But Towson usually gives Drexel trouble over the years, and Drexel probably need a little kick in the pants so that they can get back on track and potentially win the conference, get their first NCAA berth in 4 years. And if I had my sound drop machine on tonight, I would have said, how many years? 4! So, excuse me. So, the regular crowd is shuffling in here. And, let's get to the NFL news here. The big news came yesterday, and that was Jim Harbaugh, who I might add, my glasses kind of look like him, and my hat, even though I don't have a M on my hat or a Charger bolt or anything like that. But, I'm not looking like Jim Harbaugh. Don't want to be. Now, if I grew my mustache in and just a mustache, you can argue that I look like Andy Reid. Uh, and I know I got friends who can argue that, and I got some old pictures where I can prove it. But um, Jim Harbaugh goes to the Chargers. He leaves the University of Michigan after winning the national championship, despite all the controversy that was going on there. And he signs a 5-year deal. And the Chargers finally got a guy who could probably get them on the verge of a Super Bowl or even to a Super Bowl. So that's that's a good move for the Chargers, and it's almost a full circle thing for um, Harbaugh. I should say Jim Harbaugh because there's two Harbaughs in the NFL once again. Almost a full circle thing, and kind of like Chuck and Larry with the circle thing that I'm doing with my hand. Um, you do have a you do have Harbaugh coming back to the Chargers, and he played 2 years there in 1999 and 2000. And also, even though the Chargers are now in LA, my thing where I still call them San Diego from time to time, and a lot of people still do. Maddie, welcome in. Hope you're having a good night out there. Um, you really, you really feel like they made the good move. They made the move. They got the coach, the best coach in the market, and he will be ready to go when the new NFL season starts in March, because you still have the Super Bowl in a couple of weeks, and then you get that month break, and then middle of March is the start of the NFL calendar year, and players go to free agency and all that fun stuff, and you know the drill with that. We've been through it a few million times, at least it seems like that, um, but Harbaugh leaves Michigan. You know, you could have guessed it when Michigan wanted to offer him a 10-year deal and said, well, we're going to give you this 10-year deal, but you cannot go to the NFL for a year after you sign this. So I think Harbaugh knew that he did almost everything he could. And I think there may have been, you can say, Joe, you're nuts. And it won't be the first time somebody's told me that today. But I really feel that Harbaugh did plenty of stuff at Michigan. He got that national championship that Michigan has been craving since 1997 when they won last. And he, controversy or no controversy with the recruiting and other crap that he had been doing, the Spygate stuff, and who knows what else was going on that we don't know about. He goes to LA, and you would think the Chargers are going to be the draw in that stadium now. You would think. And, they get early, very easily get some legitimacy to that franchise. And he's won everywhere he's gone, whether it's the University of San Diego. He totally turned around Stanford. Stanford was a god-awful school and team. Well, they're not a god-awful school, but they're a god-awful football program before he got there. Then he went to the Niners. They go to a Super Bowl. He loses to his brother. And then he goes to Michigan. And now he's back in the NFL with the LA Chargers. And Harbaugh said in a statement that the organization is putting in the work, investing capital, building infrastructure, and doing everything within its power to win. Great effort equals great results, and we're just getting started. And yeah, they are, they finally got a coach who's got a proven track record, can win, and they're not getting a Brandon Staley who was a first-time coach, and Anthony Lynn who was a first-time coach. and you know, the names before them are sketchy to me because you know I'm maybe a football fan, but sometimes you forget who that coach was 4 years ago, 4 head coaches ago. Um, you know, before I mean I can tell you before Andy Reid, I couldn't tell you, and I'm a diehard Eagles fan. All right, it was Ray Rhodes, but you get the idea. But you know, when you're starting to get up there in age like I am, my buddy AJ Johnson, who's the leader of Bleacher Brothers, he calls it white matter. I don't know where that came from, but I call it my Polish heritage. But that's something. But anyways, I mean, I could tell you with the Eagles, you have Sirianni, then you had Doug Peterson, who won us the Super Bowl. You had Chip Kelly, and then you had Andy Reid, and then Ray Rhodes. His most successful season with the Eagles was in 2017. And my phone just went off. Not sure if you heard that, but SIRI came off, and I must have said a word that was close to that word because it started telling me the most successful season in Eagles history. The fun stuff that happens on my show. The fun stuff that happened when I was on No Filter for about a year, and now here. What can you say? But shut it, SIRI. And Maddie's trying to get me to say that word probably, but I'm not saying it. Because not only do I have SIRI, I also have the G. That that website, that G home, the Oogle. Stop it. Apparently, you don't need to say the full word that begins with the letter G to start that up, which I have next to me. So, and Maddie says he was just trying to tell it to shut up. Sure. I'm only kidding. But anyways, I set off the G device here. I'm just going to call it the G device. Not the G spot, but the G device, even though it does look like, forget it. Anyways, but Harbaugh was considered the most desirable candidate in the coaching cycle because of his success both in college and the pros. And, very rarely you have a coach that has success both in the pros and in college like Harbaugh has had. Like I said, he started with the University of San Diego, Stanford, San Francisco, and then back to college with Michigan. So a lot of, and he even played 2 seasons at the Chargers as well. Collegiately, Harbaugh went 144-42. He has 3 Big Ten championships in. He won Michigan's first national title since 1997. I'm not going to get into the stuff that happened in Michigan over the last year. You know what happened. But his father was a coach. His brother's a coach. And I found out today when I was looking over this, my final look over for the show tonight, the Chargers are playing a home game against the Ravens next year. And I guarantee that will be a primetime game. It may be an ESPN game. It may be a game that's on NBC. I doubt it'll be on Amazon Prime. Unless, what's-his-face makes do with the Swifties. But I guarantee you that game will be a primetime game when the schedule gets announced in May. So that's one place that it was rumored that Belichick interviewed, rumored that Belichick had a chance of going to and did not. Now, Belichick did interview and had 2 interviews with the Atlanta Falcons. Now, the irony of that was he would have gone to the team that he faced in one of the teams he faced in the Super Bowl, and Atlanta was up 28-3, and the Patriots came back and winning. So, but Belichick will not get the job in Atlanta either, as they hired their former interim head coach, Raheem Morris. So, and I didn't realize that Raheem Morris was an assistant coach there. That's, once again, you forget things pretty quickly, especially with me. But he's going to be the first former NFL head coach that owner Arthur Blank has hired in his 20-plus year ownership tenure. Now, Falcons had an extensive search as well. 14 candidates, including Bill Belichick, Mike Vrabel, Jim Harbaugh. Now, the coaches that had a second interview other than Morris were Belichick, offensive coordinator Bobby Slowick, and Carolina Panthers defensive coordinator Ejiro Evero. And I hope I pronounced that right. And if not, it's not done on purpose. So, Falcons are the only team Belichick is known to have interviewed with, and they decided to go in another direction. So, I don't know what that means for Belichick. Maybe combination of age and everything, and how the last 4 years went, and we don't know what's being in the interview. Maybe he wants full control, like he had in New England, and they're probably saying no, that doesn't work in the NFL anymore. So, but Morris was the interim coach after Dan Quinn was fired after 5 games in 2020. After Dan Quinn was fired through the season, Morris went 4-7 with that team, but was not given the full-time job, and it went to Arthur Smith. So Arthur Smith is the meat to the bread that is Raheem Morris. Morris was the defensive coordinator for Rams the last 3 years. Not the Lambs, the Rams. Jesus Christ. It's hot as hell in here tonight, and I got to call maintenance again tomorrow morning because, they still haven't found a way to control the heat in this apartment. They changed the thermostat and everything, but enough about that. This is Morris' second stint as an NFL head coach. He previously was coach in Tampa Bay, where he went 17-31 over 3 seasons. And I think that experience is going to help him because he knows what he has to do. It's just a matter of getting the right guys. Now, Smith had gone 21-30, 7-9 each year. And ironically, I think they had the same first round pick selection in the first round as well. He does have a defense with Jesse Bates III, all-pro safety, A.J. Terrell, and defensive lineman Grady Jarrett. He also has talented skill position players on offense like Kyle Pitts, Drake London, Bijan Robinson, and Tyler Algier, and 2 offensive linemen who were there during his last stint with Atlanta, Jake Matthews and Chris Lindstrom. But he has to determine who the quarterback's going to be or what direction they're going to go because Arthur Blank called the quarterback situation of Taylor Heineke and Desmond Ridder as deficient. So he has a decision he has to make once he starts getting comfy back in the Atlanta, Flowery Branch, Georgia compound or whatever you want to call it. So he is going to I'm just trying to figure out how he did these sheets here. That's why. So, yeah. So he's going to Atlanta, or going back to Atlanta. The Carolina Panthers have a head coach, and this is probably the job I wouldn't want to take because David Tepper, I think that's his first name, right? Yeah, David Tepper's been there 6 years, and they've had a losing record all 6 years. Last two coaches haven't lasted a full season. Well, Matt Rule was there for over a year, but that last season was only there for part of the season. And then this past season, Frank Reich only coached about 11 games before getting fired. But Dave Canales, who is the Buccaneers offensive coordinator, he takes over. And this is an interesting move because Canales has resurrected some careers in the NFL. He resurrected Geno Smith's career. He helped resurrect Baker Mayfield's career in Tampa Bay this past season. It says Russell Wilson as well, but Russell Wilson really didn't fall off until he got to Denver. But anyways, David Tepper said Dave's background is rooted in success. He has an innovative mindset and positive energy that connects well with players and staff. We are impressed with his ability to bring out the best in players. He had a second interview with the Panthers on Wednesday where he met with Tepper, the new general manager, Dan Morgan, and others on the search committee. He was quarterbacks coach for Seattle in 2022 when Geno Smith passed for a career-high 4,282 yards and 30 touchdowns and an almost 70% passing completion rate. 69.8. Yup, 69. This year he was offensive coordinator for Tampa Bay, and like I mentioned with Baker Mayfield had career highs with 4,000 yards, 28 touchdowns, and a 64.3 completion percentage. And he's going to inherit Bryce Young, who was the number one pick in the 23 draft, who had statistically one of the worst seasons in NFL history for a quarterback taken with the top pick. So, Canales is going to head to Carolina, to a Carolina team that had an NFL worst 2-15 record and had 6 straight losing seasons since Tepper purchased the team. The bad news is the number one pick that they should have is in Chicago's hands. So, it's probably going to be bumpy in the beginning. But if David Tepper gives him a little bit of breathing room, and you don't want to coach that's going to go 1-11 again. But I think if you feel like you have the right guy, you're going to do you did the right thing, and you're going to see some improvement. Now the question is, what do you say is improving with that team? Is it Bryce Young actually looking like an NFL quarterback? Is it number of wins, 5, 6? Some type of improvement that gets you back in the right trajectory. I mean, we'll see what happens, but I think it'd be crazy to say, "Oh, we're going to be a playoff team," because what happened. Like for example, in Houston, that was something that doesn't happen very often, if at all. A team that's in the toilet like they were, then going from there to winning division with a rookie quarterback who was even in the talks for the NFL MVP this year for a little bit, even though I doubt anybody would have voted for him if he continued on that route. I mean, he did have a bad game or two, but he also made up for it. So, but Carolina has their guy. Falcons have their guy. The Chargers, because I almost said San Diego. The Chargers have their guy. You still have Washington open. And you still have... Shit, I don't remember. Let's see. Let me jog my memory here. And I'm sure Maddie will beat me to it. The Seahawks, duh. And I beat Maddie to it. So congrats to me. I get 1,000,000 brownie points. But yeah, so now I think that could go to Dan Quinn. Now I'm looking over this here. List of candidates whom the Seahawks have requested an interview included Raheem Morris. He ended up with the Falcons. Mike Kafka, the offensive coordinator for the Giants, and Panthers defensive coordinator Ihiro Ivero. All of Seattle's reported candidates are under contract with other NFL teams, meaning those interviews can only take place virtually this week. But I thought Dan Quinn was an option right now, and he's his season's over. So now for Washington. The Commanders are having second rounds of interviews this week with Detroit offensive coordinator Ben Johnson, defensive coordinator Aaron Glenn, Dallas defensive coordinator Dan Quinn, and Baltimore defensive coordinator Mike McDonald, and Ravens associate head coach / defensive line coach Anthony Weaver. They also interviewed Bobby Slowick Jr. in person last week. They spoke with its offensive coordinator, Eric Bieniemy, 2 weeks ago, but he would be a long-shot candidate. Multiple league sources anticipate Johnson getting the job, but the Commanders have been mummed throughout the process. Adam Peters was hired as the GM. But, we got those two positions there. And the one thing I would say, and I may be totally off on this, and I saw it on Facebook, one of the pages I follow, and I don't know how reliable the source is. The one place I would keep an eye on is Kansas City, and I'm not, and the one thing is with me. I'll tell you right now, for those that are listening after the fact, watching after the fact, or those that have tuned in here on twitch.tv/Joe Quills, the one thing I will tell you, SJ's here. She's working and lurking. I got a story for you, SJ, after the show about something that happened around the apartment building. So, SJ, why do I look so different? If you were here at the start of the show, you would have found out that I had a fight with the Razor, and the Razor won. No, well, I've had these glasses for about a month, but they're not the reason why. But SJ's week. I love making her week, But anyways, yeah, like I said, I saw, like, as I was, because one thing is, when I'm streaming here, I see myself, I see my face here, and trust me, how I've not gotten sick from looking at my face is a mystery to me. But, like, I saw, like, how horrible the beard looked and you know, just all over the place, neck beard, everything. I was just like, you know what? Let's hack it off. And that's what happened, SJ. But, you know, um, but I still have the hair on my head, which is all sweaty because it's like 90 degrees in this apartment again. Um, but I'm not gonna. I'm gonna pretend I don't know what. I'm gonna pretend that I'm gonna pretend that I'm ignoring that I wouldn't know statement because you know because I'm talking and she's talking and there's a delay and everything like that. I don't know what the I wouldn't know thing is for exactly, and she doesn't have to respond to it, but I know she already did it. It's going to be popping up in a few seconds. Um, oh, you wouldn't know shaving? Ooh. No, I'm kidding. Uh, nah, but nah, I get bored. Shaving my face. Okay, thank you for clarifying. She has shaved a dude's face before. Hmm. Well, if you want to make that a if you want to make that a thing on my stream in the future, you know, we could do that as well. But you know, that's a topic for another time. But anyways, so the NFL jobs are all caught up, and I'm making SJ laugh now, and who knows what else. Um, but anyways, so we still have those two positions open. We'll see. Um, and she's doing what I was doing last night, writing. Except that stupid me had an 800-word article, had updates, had videos, which I think didn't show up on the article for some reason. But when I see the article on early in the afternoon, I just share it to Facebook, Twitter, Threads, and I put it on my Insta stories as well, just so that everybody can see. And got all done, proofreaded it the best I could, and then I thought, I don't have the template the way I want it. Let me copy the file, and I will just copy and paste it, rename the file, and off I go. Well, when I did not save it, it knocked out what was in the clipboard, and I had to start from scratch. So, congratulations, me, you're an idiot. But SJ says she does it all the time. You know, what SJ doesn't realize is that I am a flippin' perfectionist, and you know, you know, but I did have my article for tomorrow written by 3 o'clock today because I just had to tune out work for a little bit. So, and it was slow as well. So I was typing up, and I also put a little caveat for readers of my article, Quills Picks Winners, on BleacherBrothers.com for tomorrow, because the main pick I had was scratch. So, basically saying, hey, if the horse is scratched and I see it, check my Twitter, check my Facebook, if you're lucky enough to be my Facebook friend, or on Threads, and I'll tell you, hey, this is the horse. This is the horse I'm going with, and my extra digging almost got me a win, but finished second, so I'm in form. But anyways, did see this today. And this was an interesting story that I saw, and I don't know what happened exactly. I mean, I don't know how this happened. I don't know how this took so long to find out, but and once again, if I'm mispronouncing the name here, it's not done on purpose. And SJ's not on the video. She's not talking to me right now, so she could she could correct me, but you do have a, but she's a Giants fan. She's not a Patriots fan, but maybe she remembers the Giants Patriots game this year, as horrible as it was. But New England wide receiver Kayshon Boutte, and if I'm pronouncing it wrong again, it's not done on purpose. Um, he was arrested in Baton Rouge, Louisiana today over allegations of illegal sports betting while at LSU. Why was it illegal? Louisiana State Police Gaming Enforcement Division found that he had bet on sports from April 6th, 2022 through May 7th, 2023 when he was 20 years old. Just remember, you got to be 21 years old. Gambling problem, 1-800-GAMBLER, you know that whole deal. He allegedly used an alias to get around the age requirement for placing sports wagers in Louisiana. And this is the one thing I will tell you, especially because I talk a good game when it comes to gambling. I will tell you, like, for example, I'm going to give you my picks for the NFC Championship after this. So, the one thing I will tell you is bet within your means, and also know the rules of age requirements and stuff like that, because you have to be 21 to step into a casino. First of all, you got to be 21 in most states, if not all, that offer sports gambling, especially if you have like a place where you can wager that isn't a sports book in a casino, because they do have in Pennsylvania, out in Chester County, a town called Malvern. And if SJ is paying attention, and if not, that's fine. She's writing, and I'd rather her be writing. It's just the way that I am. There is a place here called Chickies and Pete's. And out in Malvern, I believe it is, they have the restaurant. They have the race book, and they have the sports book there, I believe. So, I think the way it's set up is you go, I would imagine you go right when you enter the door for the restaurant, and then you go left to the sports book. And I imagine that you go, well, let me order my food, and then I'm going to go over there, play a couple of games. We'll watch the games while I'm eating, and then we'll leave. Something like that. So, and they're trying to do that in South Philadelphia at the Chickies and Pete's down by the stadium, because they're getting out of, Parks is getting out of the OTB / sports book at 7th and Packer, which is near the stadium, and they're moving it over to the Chickies and Pete's, and the neighborhood's fighting it. And anything that's gambling, you're going to hear all kinds of stuff. They complained about the casinos at the different spots for years, and even the Sixers now are complaining about the Sixers. They're getting backlash from the Chinatown natives or residents. Natives is probably not the PC word to say there. I meant to say residents to begin with. Just the first word that came to mind. And if it was offensive, sorry. But they're fighting it. But I think for the most part, it is okay. I mean, I haven't heard any issues with the casino at Live, which is beyond center field of Citizens Bank Park. And by the way, Out of the Park Baseball, if you're listening to this, you got to change the background image for Citizens Bank Park, because you still have the Holiday Inn Hotel is the background, and that got torn down years ago. But that's just me. Just little things that annoy me. But um, the alias account that was created by the Patriots players, we get back to the story from my tangent, placed more than 8,900 wagers with at least 17 bets on NCAA football games, including at least 6 involving LSU, according to police. Now, I saw a funny tweet today. It was actually on Instagram on an Insta story, but they shared the picture of the tweet. And there is a female handicapper, gambler, whatever. Her name's Kelly in Vegas. I forget what her real last name is, but we know it's not in Vegas. But she said, "How the heck did he do that? I don't remember doing 8,900 wagers in my life." And I think with my friends, with SJ's group, SJ, Brian, and maybe if I add another person or two that, that she wants me to add, or Brian would add if he was here, I guarantee you that the three of us combined have not made 8,900 bets, sportsbook wagers. Now, I would imagine that some of these bets are probably $5 and $10, but also remember, you also have NIL, so he might have gotten some money, and he said, screw it, let me get some action here, get a little extra action, but, and also, I'm sure the NFL is going to investigate this as well, because you're going to want to investigate in case he's actually betting wagers on NFL games, because we've seen that happen a couple of times where players have gotten suspended 4 games, 6 games, entire seasons. And, even though you can question the integrity of the NFL because, we might have another case of, scripted football because, the logo is red and purple, and that means San Francisco and Baltimore. I'm, you can say whatever you want. I'm rooting for an all-red Super Bowl possibly, or purple versus blue, just something to blow up that theory. But I really think that it's hard to script any sports. Other than point shaving, which you will see in college sports more than the pros. But, you do have incidents. You can look at the Black Sox scandal where, they were throwing the World Series because the owner was cheap and whatever. You can watch 8 Men Out or read the book 8 Men Out. The book is pretty close to the movie. But I will tell you one thing. The Natural, do not, because I was in a class literature of baseball, do not write about the movie when you're reading the book for a class, because I almost did that. And I was like, ooh, glad I didn't. But anyways, back to the story here as I went off on tangent number 2 during this part alone. LSU said Thursday in a statement that in July 2023, LSU was made aware of allegations regarding a former student athlete's improper conduct related to sports gambling while enrolled at the university. Since then, we have fully cooperated with all relevant authorities, including in the investigation, and will continue to do so. We have no evidence that any other student athletes participated in these prohibited activities, and we are grateful for measures that detect and discourage sports gambling related misconduct. And you know what? sometimes when you log into those websites for the first time on your computer, and I'm sure I'm gonna have to do it, um, because Bleacher Brothers, um, they do have the Bleacher Brothers show has a thing with MGM. I have to, go into that, but like for example, I think it's bet a certain amount, and if your bet loses, you get 1,500 in free bets. I think it is. The numbers are a little sketchy to me. I have to pay attention to the Bleacher Brothers show a little bit more, but um, knowing my luck, I probably take the Pistons against maybe the Celtics or the Bucks or the Sixers, and the Pistons find a way to win because that's my luck. I mean, I had a promotion with FanDuel. Oh, bet $5, and if your team wins, you get $150 in free wagers. So I'm like, and I'm sitting here, early afternoon game during the week. Vegas is playing Montreal. Montreal's playing like crap. Vegas was undefeated at the time. Vegas loses in a shootout. Bum, bum, ba-da. So I never got that promotion. So, and even with horse racing, I'm sure you're going to see it on TPG. I'm sure you're going to see Twin Spires have something similar. There's the money back specials that they have where if you bet up to $10 or $5 or $10 depending on the site, if your horse finishes second or third, you get your win wager back up to $10. Well, I go joking around because one time I go to my dad when he was still alive. I said, "Hey, Dad, I played TVG and I played the $10 money back special. Well, apparently I suck at the special because I hit 4 races in a row, and now I'm like 300 ahead." Because they weren't like 3 to 5 shots where you put in 10, you get 16 back. I mean, I was picking 7, 8, 9 to 1 shots, but you know, but you know, um, but the one thing I'll say is, you just got to be careful. You just got to know the rules, and you know, and being 20 years old is a no-no. And how they found out about the alias, I don't know. Maybe he played in New England once he got drafted. I don't know. But whatever happened, he got caught. And the NCAA also prohibits players from wagering on any sport and has varying penalties for athletes found to have wagered on their team in school. Now, I don't know what the punishment would be for this guy because he's not in college anymore. He's in the NFL. But I'm sure the NFL is going to have an investigation as a result of this because, oh, by the way, NFL has their set of rules as well, and every team, every league has their own set of rules, and I really think that there's going to be even more that comes up out of this. So, now the NFL declined to comment on the arrest. Now, Boutte appeared in 5 games as a rookie this season, had 2 catches for 19 yards. That sounds like a typical Bill Belichick wide receiver draftee. But the New England Patriots are aware that Boutte is cooperating with Louisiana police regarding the investigation to an underage gambling charge, which he was a student at LSU. And the spokesperson said that the team was not anticipating any additional comments on this matter. So, but now it's possible this could have been NIL money that he received. Don't know how much he received. Doesn't matter. But he said Boutte set a single season SEC single game record with 308 yards as a freshman against Ole Miss in December 2020. He had 9 touchdown catches the following season as a sophomore. He battled injuries during a disappointing junior season with the Tigers before being selected by the Patriots in the 6th round in last year's draft. So, and the one thing I say is, these these websites and these apps and everything, they have those guards on there for a reason, and it's, suspicious behavior. Like for example, the coach from the baseball coach from Alabama that got fired last year, that came up in a story on ESPN or whatever I was looking at last night. Um, you know, Apparently whoever made the bet at a Hard Rock casino in Cincinnati, Ohio, and college baseball gets little to no betting interest in the regular season. Well, you bet $100,000 on a team on a game where there's zero action. That's going to raise red flags like you wouldn't believe, especially when the person making the wager had inside information and was making it very obvious that he had the inside information because the security cams were picking all that stuff up as well. But, well, that's for talk for another day. But we do have 2 games that I'm going to pick here. And this will not violate anything that I do with my job because I'm off hours. And also, I really think that, just something that happens, But anyways, we got the 2 games, the NFC and AFC Championship game. And like I said, I have no intel on the Andy Reid thing, but I would not be surprised that Andy Reid retires after this year. So this could potentially be his last game. And I am going to pull up my screen here in a moment. I need to pull up DraftKings because DraftKings is not a sponsor. But if they or anybody wants to sponsor me or Bleacher Brothers, hit me up, hit Bleacher Brothers up, whatever. So I'm going to pull it up here. Okay, so we got the 2 NFL games here, and I'm going to share my screen here. Ta-da! See, I was ready. And SJ says, I'm not writing tonight. F it. Okay. Sounds good to me. I don't know how recent that was, but, I just saw it now. And, sometimes I'm pulling up a different screen or something like that, or, she's attempting to shave my face or who knows what else. But she said like 16 seconds before I saw it. Okay. I have to joke around. It's just the way that I am. So we got the last 4 teams here. And the winners will be going to Vegas for the Super Bowl. Oh, I'm sorry. Am I supposed to say big game and not SB? But either way, who cares? So, AFC Championship game is the first game on tap. Chiefs and Ravens. Ravens took care of Houston. Second half, they were in control the whole time, but, they said, Houston, you're not good. Goodbye. Not this year. And the Chiefs, 6 straight years in the AFC Championship game. And I see that this line has jumped to 4. I think it was 3.5 up until last night or earlier today. And I see San Francisco is now a 7.5 point favorite. And the thing is, if you want good picks, even though I went 1-4, and SJ has the same thought that I have. SJ is thinking that the Chiefs beat the Ravens. Hmm. Two great defense, agreed. Um, Mahomes, she trusts Mahomes more in this game, and I agree because Mahomes has been there. And I'll tell you what, and I apologize for the background noise. I got the windows open because it's like 90 degrees in this apartment. But I'm going to tell you this: Kansas City has been there. Baltimore, in a way, is in uncharted territory. Yeah, John Harbaugh's been to a Super Bowl, but they're playing at home for the first time in franchise history. So they don't have anything to look back on in terms of playing for a champion, playing for a right to go to the big game in 2 weeks. Kansas City, I think this is the first time that they're playing an NFC Championship game on the road um, under Andy Reid. Well, has to be because Patrick Mahomes had his first road start in Buffalo last week, and Buffalo had a chance to shut down Kansas City. Kansas City did enough to win. Um, I'll tell you what, I'm in the same boat with SJ here. I'd like Kansas City here. I think the fact that they've been there is um, is where I would look at. So let me. SJ is actually asking me to look up the odds here. So let me put my mug here for now. Um, bu- 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 bu. Bill odds. Let me see. I'm pretty sure that the odds were 3.5 to start. Um, Kansas City was the favorite to win the AFC at the start of the year, plus 350. I know that's not what SJ is looking for. Baltimore was plus 1,000 to win the AFC. Kansas City was projected to win 11.5 games on the over/under. Baltimore was 10.5. And I'm sure she'll find it for me. Um, but I believe the line was 3 to 3.5. So we're talking a half a point here. But Brian, welcome in. Um, whoops. So, anyways, I forget what site I used in the past to find that information, and I'm sure SJ will look for it while I'm talking as well. Um, I believe Kansas City was a 3.5 point favorite. Kansas City was a 3.5 point dog when this opened up. It's now at 4. All right, so she's telling me go to Action Network. And this is the first time I'm using this site, so and because I'm in Pennsylvania, you also see Bet Parks there. Oh, okay, duh. Smack me right in the face here. Ravens opened up 3.5 point favorites. Rams opened up at 7, -7. So there we go. Um, and SJ also feels like she can't bet against the Ravens. Um, and I think what this boils down to, in my opinion, is Baltimore has not been there. Kansas City has. Now, granted, Kansas City has underachieved as an offense most of the year, um, but they find ways to win games. But they've had some real clunkers for losses. Um, but I'll tell you what, I think Kansas City is getting in the groove at the right time. And although John Harbaugh has been to this point, he hasn't been to this point as a coach where they played at home, because they've never played a conference championship game at home. And truthfully, they've rarely played a home game because it always seemed like Joe Flacco was winning games on the road. And even um, the UAB coach who Trent Dilfer, even Trent Dilfer had to win games on the road, even though technically it was the defense that won it for him. And I think there may be some added motivation because I really think that this game will have a lot of meaning for Kansas City. And I am going to take Kansas City. I'm not going to take the 4 points like SJ said up here, because even though she's like torn on this game, and I can understand why. You still got about 60 some hours till kickoff, and you don't have to lock in your picks now, but I'm locking this pick in just for the sake of the Philly Phade. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm taking the Kansas City Chiefs on the money line at plus 164. I think Andy Reid goes back to another Super Bowl. So, um, so Kansas City will have their colors painted in one of the end zones. And I forget which end zone it is because I think the road team is the one side of the screen and the home team is the other. It was something I found out a couple years ago when the Eagles were in the Super Bowl. But so we have Kansas City. And then we have the nightcap. And we have Detroit, who's had a dream season. I got a guy in Michigan that's giving me all this trash talk, how good their team is. And yeah, they're a good team and blah, blah, blah. But you know what? Just don't IM me with stupid shit at 10:30 in the morning before I go to work, before I start work. I kind of like being there, being here at my computer, playing my Wordle where I have a 34 day streak right now because I'm smart. And it's, and I guarantee 33 of those days are in 4 chances or less because I'm smart. And SJ's like, oh, dear Jesus, shut the hell up. And I'm sure Brian is as well. What? I'm just saying that you're probably... You like the over right now in Detroit, San Francisco? Is that what that is, SJ? Oh, you like the over in Kansas City, Baltimore. Yeah, that is a low number, 44 and a half. And I think that's more of a product of Kansas City not being as the point scoring machine that they have been in past years. And she's locking it in right now. And I imagine I'm going to be seeing that on my phone in a few minutes because of that little social group that we have on DraftKings. And by the way, um, I bet my last $12.50 on DraftKings because I took a bath last night on Sixers Indiana over 239.5. That hit. I think it was about 260 at the end. But but going back to this game, I'm torn on this. Now, Deebo Samuel did practice today. So, I don't think that means anything. But if you have a DraftKings account and you think San Francisco is going to win this game and win it easily, I would jump all over that 7.5 right now at plus 102 because you're getting extra money back here. So you're getting, for a $25 wager, which is what I usually bet, you get $50.50. But, you get $102 back, $100 win, $102 for the win, plus your $100 back for 202. If you think San Francisco is going to win big, why go with minus 340 when you got 7.5 points? Especially if you think it's going to be a double-digit win because of all the weapons that they have with McCaffrey and Ayuk and Kittle and and names I'm missing, and that's just the offense. But um, but I may contradict myself here. Um, San Francisco has probably been the favorite most of the year. The Eagles were in the discussion and were actually the favorites for the first 11 weeks of the season. Then the Eagles started losing left and right, and RIP Eagles. Um, Detroit has been there all year. They played that first game of the year against Detroit, against Kansas City, won in Kansas City, which shocked me. Because, you have a veteran quarterback in Jared Goff. Um, Even though I kind of remind people that Jared Goff was exceptional in that Super Bowl 53 where where the Rams only got 3 points. Now, that Super Bowl 53, that under was a steal and a half. I had 200 on it, and it won. But, I think that there's going to be more points in this year's Super Bowl than the one in 53 after the Eagles played in a game where record number of points was scored. But, back to the game. Detroit has their weapons as well. And I do not think the Niners and the Lions played this year, did they? Let me just double check that here, and I'm sure somebody will beat me to it. NFL. Okay, yeah, they played the Seahawks week 2, but that was the AFC West team that they played. Because they played teams from... They played teams from the NFC South this year. So... And you got so much film right now on both teams that there's nothing that's going to be a surprise, even though these two teams did not face each other in the regular season. And I think that San Francisco, with all the weapons that they have, you gotta give San Francisco the credit, and also playing in Santa Clara, which is actually 2 counties away from San Francisco. Um, you know, you could. I mean, I could potentially see this as a blowout, and I'm torn here because part of me sees the world coming to an end with Detroit winning the NFC Championship, but part of me says San Francisco wakes up after that scare from Green Bay and blows out the Lions. Because I think it's either going to be a Detroit close win or a San Francisco blowout. It's not going to be a Detroit blowout, and it's not going to be a San Francisco close game. And I'm flip-flopping left and right here. And I am hedging left and right. I'm stalling left and right because I don't know what to pick here. And SJ said Lions plus 7.5. Let me play with the line here a little bit. And of course, because I don't usually go alt lines here, so I'm just like looking around here. I wouldn't even know where to find it. But yeah, I'm sure somebody's saying, well, if you go here and you go here. But you know what? The heck with it. Let's go back to the main page here if I can do this without screwing up. All right. I'm hedging left and right here. Well, it did say on Action. It did say on Action Network that the line started at 7. But you know, you have access to more stuff than I do, so. And I imagine the big money is going to be coming in tomorrow and Saturday, and you know, I'm sure that there'll be a lot of late money that comes in, but I'm torn on this. But you know what? I think we're going to see a sea of red in Vegas, and you know, even though it's an extra hook on that point, which you know some people say, you know, if it goes to 7.5, go here with the Lions. But I'm not paying a 22% big. But I just get the feeling that San Francisco has a lot to prove, especially after last year, because oh, Brock Purdy hurt his elbow and blah blah blah. Shut up, San Francisco. But anyways, there it is. I'm locking it in. Yeah, it did open at 7. It's at 7.5. You know what? I'll take San Francisco for craps and giggles here. So my 2 plays for this weekend: Kansas City on the money line plus 164, and yes, this is correct when I say it. Niners minus 7.5 at plus 102. Those are the lines as of Thursday, and once again, for craps and giggles, the 2-pick parlay, which is not going to be considered part of the Philly Phade, is plus 433. So, you know, you bet 25 like I do on my typical wagers, I would get 133.32. But so that is the picks for yours truly. Uh, yeah, I mean, that's a rare thing that you see there. And, sometimes, I mean, if you know how to read the board, sometimes you can see something like that. And, I guess a lot of money is going in on Detroit right now at -7. That's why they made it 7.5. I know you have more access with your stuff at Ball is Life, SJ. So, um, yeah, but I'm going to take the bait there, and I'm probably going to waffle and flip flop. Money's going in on San Francisco. Okay. But, I'm probably going to flip flop 18 times between now and Sunday, 6:30. Um, that's how I feel. So, and if I'm not mistaken, Brian came in when I had the DraftKings page up, so he hasn't seen my face yet, has he, SJ? There you go. I had a battle with the Razor today. The Razor won. Um, I just got, I get bored with my face. Baby Joe. I'd rather hear SJ say that, Baby Joe. But, but I gotta tease her, flirt with her a little bit, even though it's all in fun and not anything serious, but, um, and, if you're in SJ's inner circle, you can get away with a couple of things, You can get away with a comment like that and, little things like that. But yeah, that San Francisco game, I am torn on. And if it wasn't for the Philly Phade, I probably would flip flop on that till Sunday, 6 o'clock. But since I have to make a pick for the sake of the podcast, for the sake of the stream, for the sake of the Philly Phade, um, my pick is San Francisco right now. And DJ Bryan says it's always the Lions +7. Yeah, I probably would have played around with the alternate line, but I couldn't find it on there because I'm not usually a person that does that. I mean, I know you do it, SJ does it, and I'm sure there's others that do it too. But I just I just don't want you seeing me struggle for an hour and a half, trying to find something that isn't all that busy, because even though I'm giving my pick, I'm not betting real money in terms of the stats, but it is it's a little fun thing that I do here. And just remember, if you have a gambling problem, um, just remember if you have a gambling problem, 1-800-GAMBLER, blah blah blah. You know the speech that I give that doesn't mention 1-800-GAMBLER, but you get the idea. Brian says +100 for +7. If anything, I would tease both the points of both. Yeah, I can see that. But you know, but I'm the type of person where if I see anything minus over 112, well, actually 110 for a bet, I kind of shy away. And that's just me because, there was a article that was in the Philadelphia Daily News for years. And the Philadelphia Daily News, my nose is running a little bit now. The Philadelphia Daily News used to have a ghostwriter, at least I think it was a ghostwriter, called Vegas Vic. And yeah, Vegas, SJ. Because you're like, with my UNLV picks. Why are you always picking UNLV? Um, in terms of basketball, it's just the time of the day during the week. But um, but when it comes to um, Vegas Vic, like I would read it, but a lot of times I'm just like, he likes that, but what the fuck does this 90 to win 50 shit mean? And as you get older and you start getting into gambling, and even if it's just for shits and giggles, since I dropped the F bomb twice, I think it was already. And I said the S word twice now, or 3 times. You know, once you understand what the gambling thing is, you can understand what VIGs are, what money lines are, what point spreads mean. All the different things. The single game parlays, which have become big over the last couple of years. Um, the first touchdown score of the game, the anytime touchdown score of the game. The part of the game where SJ throws something at the TV because she doesn't like how the game's going, or me dropping an F bomb. What the F are you doing? You know, and all that fun stuff that even those bets that you couldn't get at a uh, sports book near you or me. But I mean, you start learning, and I've always been fascinated with gambling, and and I will tell you till the cows come home, and a few of my exes, but you know, bet within your means. If you win, don't go crazy. Now I go crazy if I win, but my crazy is usually how the f do I get this money back in my bank account? Because when my dad was still alive over the summer, and I hit a 14 parlay. I think it was a baseball parlay, but whatever I hit, I said, Dad, you would have been so proud of me. No, it was college basketball. That's right, because I hit a parlay for like $500-600, and my dad goes, "Oh, congrats!" And hope you didn't waste it. I was like, "No, I played America's favorite game show. How the fuck do I get this money back in my bank account?" But he got a laugh out of it, and I'm always striving to make people laugh, and all that fun stuff. Because you know I do take life seriously, but there's times where you gotta let your hair down. Well, I can't because I don't have much hair left, but uh, you know, I mean, I don't even have any hair on my face anymore. But you know, that's what I would say. And also, um, SJ, my horse did not win today. Um, I had a nice handicapping angle once my horse was scratched. He just didn't finish. He just got out finished. So yeah, I did lose today, but still making a profit. And what I would recommend if you're a fan of horse racing, I take a look at least one race a day most days. Weather's been crappy the last couple of weeks in the Mid-Atlantic region where I live, so like as you can see there, Philadelphia, PA. Because you can't get to heaven on the Frankfurt L, because the Frankfurt L goes straight to Frankfurt, according to the Hooters. Uh, and I'm going off on tangents like you wouldn't believe here. So, um, but yeah, the one thing I would say is bet within your means, and I don't know where I was going with it, but you get the idea. So, but check out my articles at BleacherBrothers.com. I'm even going to write this weekend a baseball article this weekend. And I think SJ just dropped dead at the thought of me writing about something that's not horse racing related. I saw a story, and this is going to be the basis of it. Some of you may not know that the Oakland Athletics, who are soon to be the Salt Lake City Athletics, and then the Vegas Athletics, Las Vegas Athletics, their start was here in Philadelphia in 1901. And actually, it goes all the way back. The name itself goes back to the 1870s, even though one team got expelled, then another team got expelled, and this team folded, and then the new creation in 1901 in the American League. Philly had two teams. You had the Phillies at Shibe Park. I mean the A's at Shibe Park, which was changed to Connie Mack Stadium. Phillies were Baker Bowl, and then another stadium. I can't think of the name off the top of my head, but eventually Phillies moved into Connie Mack Stadium. Oakland moved. The A's moved to Kansas City, and then moved to Oakland. One thing I said, because especially with the Phillies Wall of Fame, originally it was a Philadelphia Baseball Hall of Fame or Wall of Fame where they took one Philly and one A. But there is a possibility this year that my suggestion that I've had for the Philadelphia Phillies since the start of interleague play could be happening. And I am going to show you one thing here, and this may mean nothing. It may mean a lot. And let me do this first. Well, first let me clear my wagers, because I am not putting those bets in. I'm not even logged in. Let me shrink this down to 100. We go to Phillies.com. Schedule. July. And this is the stupid stuff that I find when I can't fall asleep at night. And I'm just sitting there. What am I going to do with my pathetic life? But I will get to that in a second. And I'm just zooming this in. And I am going to share my screen again, because I want you to see this here. This is the Oakland Athletics come to Citizens Bank Park this year. It's the last Sunday. It's the last weekend before the All-Star break. So I think it's July 12th. Let me double check that date here. Yeah, I think it's July 12th, because the All-Star game, I think, is July 16th this year. So that is the hat that they're giving away on Friday, July 12th, when Oakland comes to town. Now, the one thing is, and I'm probably going to have to pull up my Facebook and then find the article, because I didn't want to pull it up because I kind of want to but they did take, the artists here did take some liberties here. And I don't think that they had the light blue bill on the cap. But that was the Philly Phade back in the 1930s, when both the A's and the Phillies were playing here. And back when you had two teams here in Philly, they did play two exhibition games here in Philly. one at the Philly Stadium, one at Connie Mack, which was Shibe Park at the time. And what my source, which is a uniform website, if you see there, they're showing a little patch here on the side of the hat. Now it may mean nothing, but they think that that is a Philadelphia series thing, something to commemorate the Phillies and the A's both playing in Philadelphia. And rumor has it that they may play at least one game using the 1930s uniforms. So I'm going to not share that for a second. I'm going to go here to Facebook, and hopefully nobody starts IMing me because I've about had it with stupid people. And I see my high school French teacher shared my picture, my little sketch picture that I have on my. But let me go here. And, I'm probably going too far with this. And I probably should save it for the article, but, yeah. I did see the rose jerseys, SJ. I'll tell you what. Most baseball fans will probably not notice that much. I know you will. I know Brian will. But, I guarantee you most baseball fans probably will not notice the difference. And personally, it'll probably look a little bland or whatever. And SJ said that it was awful, you know, but you're going back to the uniform that you had, the design that you had back in the 70s. And at least Nike did not ruin the Yankee uniforms by putting names on the back of the jerseys. And I can't tell you, even with me as a Phillies fan, I can't tell you how much it annoys me. Now, I understand why it is because, why pay $300 for a jersey? I'm um, making a number up here, but, you know, why, why pay $300 for a jersey when I can get a knockoff for 70 and I'll have the name on the back? Well, a true Yankee jersey does not have a name on the back of the jersey. And even with me as a Philly fan, that is a huge baseball fan in general, that annoys the hell out of me. That's probably one of the biggest things that annoy me. That and Mets fans. And that one game I went to this year at the end of September, the night before they clinched the wild card, because they delayed the game 5 hours because of all the rain that day. It was so beautiful. There were zero Mets fans at that game. And usually the Mets fans come in droves even when they're 50 and 110. They'll still be chanting, "Let's go Mets." They still think, they're just as bad as the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys could go 0 and 17 and they still expect to be in the playoffs. They expect Roger Goodell to give them uh, give you a playoff berth, a special dispensation. So let me pull up what SJ just put on here. And I am going to share this here, and then I'm going to go right from there to the Phillies, what is projected to be the special uniforms for that weekend. And there's the Yankee jersey. And you know what? I couldn't care less. Yeah, it looks bland, and like for example, SJ, who is a Yankees fan, um, I can understand you're used to that, and and like the tweet had said, um, why would the Yankees change their away jerseys? Money. I don't even think it was the Yankees. I think it was just Nike doing what Nike does. At least that's just my opinion. I could be wrong. I probably am wrong. It is about money. Um, uh, and there's the and there is the um, what the road jersey would look like on Juan Soto next year. So you do see that. Now, what I'm going to write about is what they have here. Now, that's what they project if they do have a throwback the clock game or whatever you want to call it. Now, it will kind of contradict. Let me get rid of that Dell ad here because it's annoying me. Um, damn it, Best Buy, now you. Anyways, all right, I gotta zoom out because these ads are annoying to hell. I mean, thankfully they're just ads for Best Buy and not like for massivemeatymen.com. But that's what they're projecting the uniforms will be like because that's what they wore back in the 30s. Um, there was an exhibition called the City Series. Um, it's based on a fan giveaway featured on the 2024 promotional schedule that I showed you that hat. And they may be resurrecting the City Series with the throwback uniform this summer. Um, July 12th to 14th, the last week before the All-Star game. You do have the promo schedule showing the caps will be given away. There's the hat. Now, granted, they took the liberty of the light blue there because, powder blue is the rage here. And, if you know me, I hate powder blue. But, the A's actually wore blue here in Philadelphia. And the Phillies wore mostly red. They wore the blue cap. So, um, that's a closer look at the cap. And they do mention the patch here. The cap logo matches the logo worn in 1934. Um, it's hard to make out, but they're saying here at uniwatch.com that it appears the emblem on the side says Philadelphia City Series and features a throwback A's and Phillies logo. Um, they think that the uniforms are going to be, they'll be wearing them for a 1934 throwback game this year. And that's what the uniforms look like in 34 in artist rendering. Um, so, and that's what the Philadelphia A's jerseys look like. So, um, and they wore throwbacks like that in 2012 in Boston. That's the picture. So, but it'd be interesting to see if they do that. And what did he say? But yeah, I am really hoping and praying that this happens in July because ever since interleague play and if my buddy Mike who um, you know he would probably vouch for me or he may just turn heel on me and hit me with a steel chair with, oh, you never said that. But then again, he agrees with most of the stuff I say when I say it's okay for him to disagree with me. I've always said from the beginning of interleague play, acknowledge the Phillies and the A's both sharing the city, having stadiums right near each other in North Philadelphia. That's definitely something that I hope finally happens. And you know what? I would buy a Philly A's jersey. I would buy that 34 Phillies jersey, even though it looks horrible. Because I'm a junkie like that. And, I probably would still wear it every once in a while. Um, I still have a Mitch Williams 1993 throwback jersey. Actually, I got a John Kruk batting practice jersey. You know, I wear that to the ballpark every once in a while. And, you know, somebody asks me why I'm wearing it, I tell them, hey, I'm up a ball on them. I feel manly. Well, John Kruk had testicular cancer, blah, 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 you know. But that's the type of humor that I have here. So anyways, I think I'm going to call it a night. And SJ and Brian, thank you for joining me. SJ, sorry I distracted you from writing, but you know, this smooth face made you not write tonight, and I do apologize. Brian, thank you for joining me. Maddie was in here earlier. Thank you to Maddie as well. And thank you to everyone who's going to be watching this after the fact on YouTube. And also watching on delay here on Twitch, twitch.tv/Joe Quills. And thank you for those that take the time to download the podcast as well, because, you know, I'm not looking for numbers, even though I would like to get to that 50, even though I'd like to get to that 50 follower mark so I can get affiliate. But, you know, I would like to get there. And once I get there, who knows what I can do. But, you know, I should be doing more than sports. I should be doing more than just sports streams and stuff like that. And I'm sure SJ will be coaching me in the next few weeks. Not tonight, I got a headache. Uh, but, you know, like I always say, I'm always up for constructive criticism, you know. And SJ, she's not afraid to give me some pointers and stuff like that. And Brian will as well. And, you know, I'm always up for it. So, and if you're watching on demand as we close out the show, all that information is on the left-hand side of your screen. The Bleacher Brothers site, my handle, and that's not only just Twitter, that's also Instagram and Threads. My email you can reach me at, and my hometown, the town that rocks the nation, Philadelphia, PA. And that's the second Hooters reference, a band that came from the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia, PA. So let me get out of here before I start talking for another 3 hours. Have a great night, everybody. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the games. Check out my articles on BleacherBrothers.com. Also, check that out for all your sports needs as well. And also, check out the Bleacher Brothers Show, Monday through Thursday, 8 to 10 p.m. on the Tony Bruno Sports Network app. They're also on YouTube as well. And, you know, we're expanding. So, thank you so much for joining me tonight. And I will catch you Tuesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific, here on twitch.tv/Joe Quills. Once again, this is part of Bleacher Brothers Network, BleacherBrothers.com, BleacherBrothers.com for all your sports needs. Good night, everybody.